Plat
Part 2 starts today of this thing that we did last time. What did we do?
We created
were
a
looking
very,
at-
very official unit of measurement that I think we dubbed plat chummies. A scientifically approved method of determining the difficulty of platinums, particularly platinums that you and I share. So it's certified. It's approved by all the boards of science.
Actually, I saw the stock is like surging. I think
like Netflix made a documentary about it, going like the rise and rise and rise of the plat chummies. It's an unlisted video on Netflix, but it is on it.
Too big to bust.
Yeah, it's available on UMD. So I think we left off at Red Dead Redemption 2, and I believe I gave it the fabled 5 plat chummies, and I think you were a bit of a cheeky bastard and gave it 4.5. But
yeah, I think I said that it was like all that was missing was that real skill component. You know, there was nothing that made me like nothing I had to repeat countless times.
Maybe you're too skillful, Dan. Maybe that's the issue.
It's the
game's fault.
It was it was just, you know, I always felt every time I played Red Dead Redemption 2, I always felt like I made progress that day, you know? I get that. Yeah, and that's why I wouldn't give it 5 out of 5 for difficulty.
Because it gives you a sense of pride and accomplishment. So, the first game that pops up today, Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm going to fly in and just say 2.5 plat chummies.
I'll say 2.5 if we're counting the 100%.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because the base game is easy. But
no
then
difficulty trophy. A lot of collectibles, but it's fine. It tells you where to look.
Yes, it tells you. The DLC, of course, with the Frozen Wilds brings in New Game Plus and the difficulty trophies.
Yeah, so. Frozen Wilds was my favorite part of the game. I much preferred the narrative and the setting. I thought it was fantastic. So it's
my favorite.
2.5.
My favorite bit was when I finished it. It was done. I was completely sick of Horizon by the time I was done. Because I played the whole thing in like one burst, you know.
That would do it. That would do it. I think Horizon, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't be putting it in my top 5 of the generation though.
No.
It does suffer from open world mitosis.
Here's my hot take of the. I probably have a few
fresh
hot
from
takes,
the oven. Fresh from the oven.
But I will say Days Gone is way better than Horizon Zero Dawn. And
we asked for a hot take, not a scalding take. My God, that is a third degree take.
I much preferred Days Gone. I thought. I don't know. I know everyone loves it. I just felt like the combat in Days Gone.
I think I had more fun playing Days Gone. I think I will say that there is something about the cheesy biker music. I want a lonely road to go down the road in my motorbike. While you're just killing zombies. I like it.
I hope I haven't offended anyone. It's not my intent. I just didn't get the best game of the generation thing. I think it has a bit of that Ghost of Tsushima air to it.
Dig up, Dan. Dig up. So the next game, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. I think we can concur that this is actually an objectively fantastic game.
Yeah. It's the second best Uncharted game.
I find it difficult to place 3 of them. I do, everyone always shits on Drake's Fortune, but if you played it back when it was released, that was unbelievably good.
It was such a jump.
So such a surprise. I think 2, for me, it's probably cliche to say, but I think that was the game that really, really blew my mind. I think Uncharted 3 is maybe the least inspired of all of them, but it's still very good. And Uncharted 4 was just a fantastic, kind of tonally serious entry. So
no. I can't speak to the difficulty of survival mode or the DLC, but in terms of the platinum, I would say like a 2.5 again. I'm probably leaning on. There's a speedrun trophy, but
crushing. I think this would be a 3. I think this would be a 3 to 3.5 actually.
Really? Wow.
Speedrun and crushing. I think Horizon, I'd probably rechange that to a 2 actually. I'd say a 3 because speedrun trophies aren't everyone's forte, and I think
but there is an exploit for it. So there's a way of getting that speedrun, I think.
Yeah, like I'm just going over the trophies here. It's actually kind of funny. We both started 2016, but you didn't get the platinum until 2019, and it was the multiplayer. The survival, which I only got June last year. That was tough, but Naughty Dog kept patching the shit out of it to make it a bit more difficult than it should have been, to be honest.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that was not a pleasant 100%, but luckily an absolute god helped me online. Yes. So I would say the difficulty would be a 3. I don't think it's the hardest difficulty, and the speed run is in 4 Plat Chummies territory. Because
I'm gonna stick with a 2.5. I don't think it gets 3 in my opinion.
Oh, the claws are out today, Dan. The claws are out today.
No, I'd go with the 3 if there wasn't the exploit for the speedrun, because if people had to do the speedrun, but yeah, like I'm sticking with the
I think that's fair. Okay, I think we're going to agree on this one. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. So we're going to give our rating at the same time, okay? So on the count of 3, 1. Well, that's actually confusing because we're saying numbers. Okay.
Okay. We'll say.
Let's go. 2. Damn it, Dan.
You're too quick. I will. Yeah. Yeah. 2. 2 is fair because it's a much shorter game.
It's like the triangle player, that just at the end of the song needs to hit it, just misses. It's like, fuck.
There's a bit of with the whole remote recording, there's a little bit of a delay, so we'll chalk it up to that. Not my slow reaction.
Not my
speed,
perfect rhythmic clock, internal rhythm.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed Lost Legacy.
I did as well.
I thought it was really good. And like I wasn't like sold on the idea of Chloe and Nadine as the main characters, but it worked so well.
No, it worked so well, and was also like the precursor to that massive Seattle section in The Last of Us 2. Like this was kind of Naughty Dog's first like big open area, in like the safari jeep. That was it was very, very good game. Very good game. So next up, Spyro 1, 2, and 3.
We're just gonna give all of these a 1, maybe a 1.5 because they're not like completely straightforward like a Telltale game.
I think the second one was the easiest. I think, but
I actually can't remember.
But they're also interchangeable. They're also interchangeable. Yeah. There was like 1 or 2 slightly annoying sections in all of them where it's like it should take you, or it took me like 3 or 4 attempts instead of getting it first time. But I think they were just so sporadic and infrequent that I think it doesn't even necessitate the 1.5 because this is a very official system, Dan, and we need to keep it so. I don't know how a game can get easier than this, bar like Radalika, but for the game it is, you should get the platinum or very close to it just by finishing it.
Yeah, like
some miscellaneous ones, but
yeah, it's just it's pretty typical of a platformer game. Most platformers are pretty straightforward, at least the 3D platformers. most of them are relatively straightforward.
I'd say 1. We'll give it a 1. And next up, the 2018 version of God of War. What would you put on this?
Another 2, I think.
Yeah, it's the pigeons. I know they're not pigeons, but it was pretty much a repeat. I was getting like flashbacks to Grand Theft Auto 4, going around hunting all the ravens.
Just with an axe.
Just with the that never got old. It was
great fun.
It was so cool every single time just to call it back, because my thing was like, I just throw the axe and like hopefully like pin someone up against the wall, and then I'll whip out the blades of chaos and I'd leave one enemy, and then that's when I'd call back the lithium axe, and it was just so satisfying. What a fucking game that was.
I enjoyed the axe so much that I didn't even use the blades of chaos when I got them.
You see, the blades of chaos were a means to further elevating the axe. I predominantly used the axe, and that was the only thing, just to call it back and then finish the last guy off with the axe, and then just kiss it.
And that's not a spoiler, because if everyone doesn't know, you get the blades of chaos. You know, come on, guys.
God, you get the blades of chaos in a God of War game. If you call that a spoiler, like, fuck off.
No Man's Sky, that's an interesting one. I haven't played that since since it came out, so I don't know. I know the game is supposed to be great now, but I haven't played it.
I was building a few bases, to be honest, because base building is kind of my thing in games. I would say this is like a 2.5. It's a bit grindy, you know, like having to scan so many animals and wait on. Let's see. I'm going to go into it. It's 2018 since I got the Platinum, 2016 since you got it. So, I don't know. I haven't played it since the base building was implemented, or after the Pathfinder, should I say. Yes. So I don't know if the game's been reworked to such an extent that to, you know, attain legend status and ships destroyed, or, you know, extreme survival. I don't know how much easier or more difficult these have become, because the game has fundamentally changed since this trophy list was devised. But I remember it being like a 2.5 or so, just because it's grindy and it might be difficult for some people to maybe get into it. And there is just a lot of resource management, and some of the planets were just lethal. You know, if I ran out of warp drives or whatever, like it could be kind of tricky. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was very soothing and just relaxing to play. That's how I kind of approached it. Just stick it on for half an hour, just explore some planets, take some screenshots, and just scan animals. So I think 2.5.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I got the game when it came out, like, first, and I wasn't let down by it like most people. I enjoyed it just for the kind of the chill experience that it offered. You know, I wasn't there was definitely some things that were lacking in it. The world did feel quite sparse, but it was always exciting to see, you know, what the new planet looked like. And I love that procedural thing.
I think so. Yeah, I think the two of us should load it up at some point.
Yeah, be cool.
Next up, The Witcher 3.
Witcher 3. Well, I think you have to have The Witcher 3 on your list.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
It's like a badge of honor. I think.
And it's a badge of dishonor to not have the badge of honor. I think that's how it works. No.
I think DLC wise, the DLC was all pretty straightforward. The main game,
Death March was
played on Death March.
I didn't find it that difficult though. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
No.
Like, there's a lot to like the Gwent cards were the things that took the most, I guess, precaution. But they patched it where, you know, like I remember there was a card that was missable in the first area with a bartender or something, and if you didn't get it then, but they kind of like patched it I think like some were still missable, like the quest, the Gwent tournament, which was just one of my favorite quests in any game. Like it can just go a myriad of different ways, but even if you just stick playing Gwent, I remember like I kept a save file, completed, then went back just so I could play Gwent again against the elite guys. I thought it was a very well balanced trophy list for such a big game. Like you've got, discover 100 travel points, kind of random ones where you attack, counter, cast a sign, throw a bomb in under 4 seconds. I would say because of Death March, I would say this is kind of like a soft 3.
Yeah, I think a 3 is fair here. There's a lot to do. Even the length of the game, there's a lot of side quests there. It's a big game, but it's one of those games that, that only benefits from the length, because each of the side quests is just its own little game nearly a lot of the time.
And like just special mentions to the DLC, like Hearts of Stone was tremendous narratively and introduced so many fantastic characters. And Blood and Wine would be the kind of DLC that, like, if it was, like, to talk about Miles Morales for a second, Blood and Wine came out, and I believe it was it 30 euro?
I paid a fraction of that amount for the whole complete edition, even. I think I paid 20 for the Game of the Year edition.
That is insane. Even the base game's on sale for like €8 a lot, which is about $6 or £6 for our British viewers. It's Blood and Wine is just like the gold standard. That and like Undead Nightmare for me are kind of like what is possible within like the realms of DLC. And people say like Miles Morales is like, oh no, it's like a full-on game. Like, no, like to be fair, like if you can platinum it in 10 hours, but that includes a new game plus.
Yeah.
Like and that's like the full shebang, like 60, 70. No, like I just always think of Blood and Wine or like Undead Nightmare and how much more fleshed out they are. Anyway, 3.
Yeah, 3 is fair. Just 2 shout outs to other games that have amazing card games in them. Final Fantasy VIII with Triple Triad, and Knights of the Old Republic with Pizak.
Oh, I remember Pizak.
Yeah, sometimes the card games within the games are nearly as fun.
Well, it got to the point with Gwent where like I was just like, God, this game's amazing. It's so fantastic. There's a really weird side quest where you're like this witcher that hunts demons, though, and I'm not as into that. Like that, they could have left that side quest. Like I guess it's to flesh out Gwent, but whatever. No, it became just a Gwent simulator. Like I love it. I'd love to get like a physical copy of Gwent, but this is not.
Yeah, well, it's, Thronebreaker for the PS4 is effectively a Gwent game. So.
I like the base game. It got too elaborate for me, but look.
Yeah. Yeah, it does get a bit tricky. Okay, Until Dawn.
1.5.
0.5. I'm gonna go 2 here because like I thought organizing everything was like, it's one of those games that if you want the platinum, at least in my memory, I needed to like be following a guide quite closely on my later playthroughs. I think I did the first playthrough blind, but I saved everyone because I just, if you did the nice thing, they were usually okay as far as I remember.
Yeah.
But like I remember to try and, it's like Heavy Rain or any of those games when there's multiple endings and you have to try and orchestrate them. It can be a little bit complicated.
But
I'll go with 2.
Yeah, I think I might stick with 1.5 because I feel like it's not as long as Heavy Rain or even Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the game. I think it's a fantastic example of such kind of narrative decision based games.
Few games have Freddie Mercury in them as well.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Or Mr. Robot, or that. I always remember him as the guy from the Pacific, though.
Yes, yeah. It's like
he's friends
like,
with not Lecky. Lecky was my guy.
It's like it's like Schmuck or something
Schmuck,
like that.
yes, Schmuck. Yeah, Rami Schmuck.
It's like that. It's Schnazu or Snazu.
Yeah, I don't know, Rami, but it's a great show, The Pacific. That and Band of Brothers. If you're bored, look for something to watch. You could probably still watch this, but if this isn't entertaining you, just go watch The Pacific. Wouldn't blame you.
I would recommend The Pacific over.
Yeah, like just stop watching us. Just go watch something good. So I'll stick with
Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So we'll go like maybe I'll say 2. You say 1.5.
1.5 and GTA 5.
Tricky one because of course it is an infamous Rockstar game. The platinum is of course ultra rare status.
Well,
so when we compare it to Red Dead, maybe as our base point, as in GTA 5,
well, it's got the gold medals, which I think you get a silver trophy for as well. No, I think there is gold medals. I think like 70 missions.
Yeah, sorry, but you don't need to do all the requirements at once.
That's true. That's true. Like that is such a it was the same in Ballad of Gay Tony. It was like you could focus on one and it would save your progress.
So it meant that if there was one of the criteria was do it really fast, you could just disregard all the other things and just race to the end.
Okay, so since I give Red Dead the ultimate 5 plat chummies, I think that alone removes 1 plat chummy point because it removes a lot of pressure. I
agree.
It removes a lot of time that you're spent replaying it because a mission can still be a success even if you fail one of the criteria, and then if you go back and replay it, it's like okay, I just need to focus on this, and normally then you get it the second time, whereas with Red Dead it was you had to do the whole thing again and you'd have nothing to show for your efforts if you fucked it up essentially. So I think that removes 1 plat chummy point. So I'm down to 4 and you're down to 3.5.
I think I'll go up to 4, because I still think in my head I don't think it's a 3.5. I still think it's a 4.
Well, I think the 100% as well in this, because I have the list here. You don't actually need to 100% the game. You don't need to do every single thing like you would have in, say, San Andreas or Red Dead.
Yeah. It's a different beast though, because Red Dead has dynamic collections. All the collectibles in Red Dead are flying around the place, but in GTA
they're static.
They're static. But that can kind of make it a little bit more monotonous to get them because you're just walking from point A to point B, so it's more like a box checking exercise.
Yeah, but I mean, with Red Dead again, it's the time element because it's moving. If a rare animal spawns and you miss it, it's gone. So I feel like with GTA, it's kind of crystal clear what you need to go and do.
Yeah.
And Red Dead, it's a bit more wild, and there's just so an overabundance of collectibles. So there's 200 million fully mod. There is the online component, but I don't think GTA Online's a lot more fun to play than Red Dead Online.
It is,
and I think you level up much faster. And there's a lot more ways to make your money and to earn your XP. So I think that makes it easy. But I would agree with you. The Platinum Awards were difficult on the online. That took a bit of time.
And I think I'm again, this might be just a memory thing, but I think the gold medal requirements were a lot more in depth than the Red Dead ones, because some of them were so different in each mission that it just wouldn't have been possible to do them all at once, really. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot more mission variety there.
Or do something as Trevor, do something as as Michael and such. You don't have the highest trophies, man. I just noticed.
No, I don't. I tried to do them with you, and we failed like the first 2 or 3 times.
I sabotaged you.
I just gave up, and you went off and got them with someone else. So thanks.
Wow.
Thanks for that.
Way to make this personal. We're gonna have to get Dr. Phil out here again.
You know me, I'm perfectly content to move on once the going gets tough, you know.
All right, so I think I'm gonna settle on 4.
I'm going 4 too.
I think 3.5 is kind of discrediting it a bit too much.
Just because it's a big Rockstar game, I think 3.5 just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, no, I think 4. Next up, LA Noire.
3.5.
I know. I would say 3.
Rockstar game.
Yeah. Like it's not difficult. Like I need to click in here, but I know that there is the element of some trophies not popping.
Yes.
There is collectibles. The stupid drive more than 194 miles was annoying.
The cars were pretty annoying, I remember, because they all looked the same to me.
And you need to complete all the cases with the 5-star rating.
Yeah.
And 100% the game. Jeez, you kind of forget all these things.
It wasn't on like GTA level, definitely.
It was not. But I think 1 platchummy below GTA 5 is fair because each.
Yeah.
It's like the Richter scale, you know. Each half platchummy is 800 times more powerful. No, it's a lot of collectibles. No, I think I'm gonna go like 3, but I also wouldn't be against you if you said 2.5.
Yeah, I'll say 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
I think 3. Okay, Walking Dead Season 2, 1.
1. Yeah.
1. Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
Minus 1.
LittleBigPlanet. Now, this is one of my first platinums, and I always loved the platinum trophy. I thought it was so class. It's just so cute, little sack.
It's a great one.
2009, I got this, man.
Yeah, I was a bit later to the party because I had to come back.
2014.
Yeah, I it was one of my kind of cleanup ones because you can see there I did play it in 2009, but it was a lot later on.
This was my first experience with people that create levels for the goal of purely getting trophies, where you'd get like 6 or 7 super quickly. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. That was cool, actually. I remember that, play this level and you'll get these trophies. Yeah, I remember that.
I'm gonna go 2.5.
Wow, I was thinking like a 3.5 actually, because I remember I did have a bit of trouble with the no death run and the ace levels. I think I was like a little,
maybe a 3. It actually, no, you're right. I think a 3 would be right. It's one of those games that looks childish and accessible, but once you try to get the trophy list, and I also love that you fight Metal Gear Rex in the DLC. What a game.
With the paintball gun.
I can't believe I've never played the second and third ones. Actually, I had a lot of fondness for the first one. I think
Me too. Yeah.
I own the. I think I own the It was either second or third one on PlayStation Plus. I think a 3 actually, like to ace the levels, kind of akin to Limbo or Inside. It's
yes, yeah, and like they're deceptively hard. And then you've got the whole social element to it. It's not that easy, and there's some of the things require 4 people.
Yeah,
4-player
and
co-op.
People that aren't on your friends list and stuff. It's probably unobtainable these days. I don't even know if the servers are open.
I don't know. Yeah, I remember because it did take me so long. I remember there were some things there that took me a long time to get. So yeah, I'm happy with the 3.
Okay. Infamous First Light.
2, 1.5.
I 1.5. I'd probably give it like 1.5. A 1.7, but we won't break up the system because it's so certified by scientists.
Yeah.
Well, what 1.5? I mean, like the challenges. Once you get your head around the game, it's easy.
Yeah, the challenges were like I'll just have a quick look.
There's a small component of skill to it, but the game.
Yeah, I got the platinum in 1 day, so Yeah, that sounds about right. I remember it being very, very easy. I think this is effectively, in my mind, this is the sister game of Miles Morales.
I think I got this in 2 days, which for me is actually super quick. So I think 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5.
South Park Stick of Truth. Excellent game.
Excellent game. Yeah, I'll say a 2. There's
2.
Some like missables. There's some, some. It's just like turn-based RPG stuff. It's a fairly easy game, definitely, but it's not.
A few things to consider, but it's a 2. I think it's a 2.
It's a 2.
Skyrim.
Skyrim
in the day.
Yes, yeah, another badge of honor game.
A great platinum trophy as well with the dragon. I just love it.
Yes, yeah, no, it looks awesome. And it's such a great game. There's no two ways about it. It's pretty much a game that'll last the test of time. I think I've downloaded it for my microwave recently, and it plays pretty well there.
At the end, there'll only be copies of Michael Jackson's Thriller, albums of Daniel O'Donnell, and Skyrim.
It's just one of those games, it's just like Todd Howard is behind me with a gun.
You just say pop in the front. I would say though, trophy wise, it definitely takes a lot of time, but there's nothing too difficult. I would say 2.5, maybe 2.
I think just a 2.5 based on the length of the game.
And not necessarily the difficulty of what you need to do to unlock the trophies. Just that it'll take a bit of time, and
we've mentioned this before about the kind of ludonarrative dissonance in Skyrim, because it's like, oh, you're the Dragonborn, but you're also the
master of the thieves guild.
You're
a vampire and a werewolf.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I nearly would prefer if they locked you down. Yeah, like I don't think you should be able to be the
master of everything.
The master of everything. Yeah, it seems a little bit disingenuous.
Yeah, like
save some high powered positions for
but
some other people.
It makes it easy then for the story writers, because they can just like ignore that and just create the narrative and ignore anything that might interfere with that. It's just rigid, and it's like you can literally do everything. Nothing has a consequence.
I always hated that though, when you become the master of every guild or whatever, and you finish everything, and then you go and do the main story, and it's like, oh, who are you? It's like, I'm everyone.
Like, I own land.
Yeah.
I've killed literally everyone. I'm a master assassin.
Great game. Only my main problem with Skyrim is that I always resort to stealth archer, no matter what I do. I'll start off as a barbarian, and eventually I'll end up as a stealth archer.
Skyrim pyromancy mixed with just clubbing, just go and just on the head. Okay, so I think 2.5.
2.5 is fair.
Next up, The Last of Us. It had I remember being very surprised at this list when I first played it. I'm like, well, this is like a real like old school list where it's literally nothing for story progression. It's just kind of collectibles, and it's a game where it's those trophies that it's a very lopsided game where you might get a few at the start, nothing, then all the trophies come when you're pretty much coming to the end of your journey towards the platinum.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
New Game Plus.
And New Game Plus, you've got survival mode that you don't have to do grounded because that's DLC. Survivor, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Again, it's fairly challenging. It's not too bad, but fairly challenging. I'd say a 3 here. Maybe
especially for the 100% with grounded mode, and I know there is an exploit, but I did 2 playthroughs. I didn't do it. You can see on September. Then I went back a month later. I just adored this game.
Well, I have it on the PS4 as well. I don't have actually the 100% here as you see for the PS3, but I do for the PS4. So.
Nice. No, the online was actually Splinter Cell Blacklist, my favorite multiplayer experience on the PS3.
It's an excellent example of multiplayer done well on a single player game at least.
And I think if Rockstar were to make a Manhunt game, follow that framework. If they're ever gonna, because I'm writing a video on my own channel, I'm trying to pitch a sequel for a game that I think everyone's afraid to make. But I've kind of structured off that. But the Platinum, it's a very funny list, but I would say the 100% is definitely through the 3 to 3.5.
I'm still going with the 3.
Yeah.
I think just with survival and the fact that you have to do the multiplayer thing twice, you have to finish
factions I would bump it up to 3.5 personally, but that's my lack of skill talking. So I'm going to go 3.5 for the overall thing.
I'll agree.
Okay, next up, Hitman Absolution. Have you played the Hitman games? I lent you the trilogy. Have you got
I haven't played them.
I haven't played them. You gave me Dark Souls 3 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and they've been sitting under my TV because I've been stuck on Dark Souls 2, and now it's like Final Fantasy 7 is free on PlayStation Plus. But I will definitely play Dark Souls 3. I remember your challenge that you finish all of them by the end of the year, and
yeah, you'll do it.
And my friend Liam texts me at because he's in Hong Kong. I got a text 4:30 this morning going, dude, you really have to play Sekiro, it's class. So I'm like, but everyone leave me alone.
No, it's amazing.
I'll play them.
I would, for Absolution, I would say it's a 3.
Ooh.
I'm like, it's been so long since I played it, but it's just got that, that typical Hitman thing where you have to replay the levels a lot depending on.
I would probably say it 2. I got this platinum in 3 days.
Okay, yeah, actually I must check how long it took me. But I could be wrong. But just in my head, it took me, from what I can see here, 3 days as well. 3 days.
Ooh, who got a faster? Let's see. 3 days 17 minutes.
3 days 17 minutes for you, is it?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, sorry, I have to type it in because I didn't see it. 2 days 14 hours.
Oh, I never win.
Sorry, but I did. I'm saying I found it harder than you, so just
evidently you got it a day faster.
But that's just because I had 0 life, and I was just completely engrossed in it.
I'm aging 48.
It was August, so I know I was on holidays
from college,
so
yeah, I'm gonna stick with 2.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 3.
But this is hugely influenced by the fact I love stealth games, so that's kind of the only kind of caveat I would add to it, that stealth games are just my thing, and this is bar Hitman Contracts. This is by far the easiest Hitman game to platinum or get the 100% in. I would say Hitman 2 is the hardest.
I played the trilogy on the PS2, and I never played it on with trophy support, so I suppose never would have gotten the equivalent of the platinum there either. So I can't remember how difficult any of those ones were.
Contracts is so short, so unbelievably short, and you could tell it was just kind of upcycled levels from the first 2 games is kind of thrown together. Blood Money's just such a tremendous game. I don't really think it's aged, but that's because I'm old, so my perception of time and what is aged is somewhat skewed. But Hitman 2 is still possibly up there with my favorite. I haven't played Hitman 2, the recent one, nor have I played 3, but I played Hitman 20, was it 2016, 2017, whenever it was kind of soft rebooted. And that was so good. It was so good, but it still irrationally annoys me. It didn't have a platinum. There's so much to that 100%. I'm just like, how the hell does this not have a platinum? How is this how does Hitman not get a platinum, but all that fucking rake of Radalika shite gets platinums? It doesn't make any sense to me, but that's an argument for another day. But I think 2.5 ultimately for Absolution. But play the trilogy, man. 3. Play the trilogy.
Yeah, I will. I'll have to. I just have to, dust off the PlayStation 3.
Dust it off. Next up is Bioshock Infinite.
I found this. See, I have Bioshock 1 plat, and I've never played Bioshock 2. It's one of the few games I haven't played, like, the kind of entirety of the story or the trilogy. But I found Bioshock 1, I suppose we're going to get to that later. I found that really hard, but I found Infinite like really easy, much easier. So like I think it's probably like a 2. But that's just it's just my memory with it. It's been like 7 years since I played it. But I don't remember having any like difficulty with the game at all. I think I platinumed it like within. It looks like I got the platinum in about a day or so.
Yeah,
so,
I'm just looking at the trophy. That for me would bump it up a bit. It was complete complete the main campaign in 1999 mode without purchasing anything from a dollar bill machine. I think that was the tricky one. But then again, I don't remember having too much difficulty with it either. Let's see how quickly I platted that. The 100% in 7 months. I was slow at it. Platinum in 3 days.
Platinum in 1 day, 9 hours.
Oh my god. Okay. I don't remember having too much difficulty, but I'd say because of that, with like purchasing stuff, always is like half a plat chummy or a plat chummy. So I would say 2.
Yeah, I think I'll go with 2. I think I remember I played like a lot of games like this at the time. I played Dishonored. I think it was like the game I played just before this game. So Dishonored was very similar to it as well. So I was kind of in that mode of playing it. Plus, I can see you played it in 2013.
I got a release day.
Yeah, right. when it was being released, and then I got it like a year later, which would have had like a lot more substantial guides for say that 1999 mode.
Yeah, no, so, I pretty much got that as close to release day. I got a lot of games 2013 release day. It was a good year for games. So next up, Far Cry 3. I'm not going to beat around the bush. 1.5.
Yeah, agree.
1.5. The Wolf Among Us.
It's
like
a
1.2, even though there's like it's not just finish the game. It's just like those 6 collectibles.
Yeah,
but it's still in essence a 1.
It is, yeah.
Not a 1 in the same sense as The Walking Dead, but a 1 nonetheless. Transistor, 1.5, 2.
Yeah, I was gonna go like 2 out of 2 plat chummies.
Yeah, 2 solid plat chummies, I think.
I just have to say that this is my I think it's probably my game of the PS4, at least my sleeper hit of the PS4 generation. Like, it's my favorite indie of the PS4. I absolutely adore Transistor, and I often listen to this soundtrack. I just think the soundtrack.
The soundtrack's beautiful. Like, it was the second game I played in PS4, because before I bought it, I got gifted Fallout 4 for my birthday, and there was like a PlayStation in the house I was staying in, and it was like after Fallout, and then I just got it like for free. I remember just being like blown away because I had no expectations, but like the way I kind of pick and choose my games, like there's some developers that I just know I'm going to play their games. There's some writers and some game directors that I'm like definitely going to see what they're doing, and then there's probably just 10% of my games, say like the Swapper or like Limbo, where I'm just glancing and I just go like, that just looks like something I'd be interested in playing. And Transistor just had that visual style that I'm like, that just looks so engaging and breathtaking almost, that it's like, it just appealed to me, because I do like games like that are just slightly off the beaten path. I think I was saying before that I think I need to rediscover the kind of indie game market, because I think as this generation's gone on, I've got like less and less in touch with it. But excellent game, but an easy platinum.
Yeah, I loved Bastion. I had that on the PS.
I own it
on Steam.
I own it. I've been meaning to play it for fucking years.
Well, it's similarly excellent. You know, Supergiant who do that, and they also have, you know, they released Hades there last year, which was Game of the Year contender.
Hopefully it'll make its way to PlayStation.
Yeah. So I think, like, obviously Transistor and Bastion, like they're like the AAA of the indie markets. You know, they're still an indie studio, but they're like a AAA.
They're like a capital A. You know.
Yeah.
So the next game in the games we have in common is actually Red Faction Guerrilla, but I have the platinum and you do not.
Yeah. No, I will never get the platinum. No, I'm not going to grind. I did all the single player, but not the multiplayer.
This is a 5.
5, yeah.
This is a 5. Possibly break the scale and put it at a 6 because I had to do it twice. The infamous 250 wins. I was at like 230, and I got the Yellow Light of Death. And since if my progression wasn't stored on a server, it was local in my save file. I actually lost the progression for the online, and I had to start all over again. So the 16 hidden challenges of multiplayer. Jesus. That was an easy goal. I remember that being easy. You know, I get 5,000 kills, play 250 matches, win 250 matches, earn 100,000 XP. Like this is the online components of this alone, and it was so, like, even when I was playing it, like you can see 2011, like late 2011, like it was already kind of dead. So all that was left was like the absolute elite, and man, having to do it twice. But the thing was, it was actually excellent multiplayer, like the destructibility and the amount of collectibles in the single player. It's I think that it's actually a 5. I think it deserves to be in that like Plant Chummies like Hall of Infamy.
I remember the single player. I really liked the game. I loved the destruction. I loved being on Mars. It was a great setting. I think it's Mars, isn't it? It's Mars, right? Yeah.
No, they're in Scotland, man. They're in Scotland.
Yeah. A great game, but I remember, you know, obviously I played it a bit later than you did, and I remember the horror stories for the multiplayer. So I was just like, actually, and that's one of the few games that someone else put on my account, and it was at like 2%, and then I was like, I have to do something with it, you know. So then I was like, I'll just do the single player, and we'll see where that takes us. But again, that'll sit at 42% forever on my account.
The trials and tribulations of a trophy hunter.
So I can't comment on the platinum, so I'll give it a 5 for never.
An empathetic 5.
Empathetic 5. Yeah.
So next up, Infamous Second Son. Not going to be around the bush. 1.5. It's easy, but it requires 2 playthroughs. So
1.5.
Guacamelee.
3.
Yeah.
There's like, I just remember that there's like an end platforming section to get like some of the last collectibles, and I remember there was just one of them, and I was like, and I played it completely on the Vita, and the Vita always has like a little, like the controls are just like that little bit less precise than the PS4 or PS3. So at the time, you know, it's one of those games that I played on that I would have been better just to switch over to the console, but it was like,
but it was all the way over there
or whatever. Yeah. I think I have great memories of playing my Vita at this time, because I played loads of Vita at this time, because I kind of just got the Vita at that stage. But we used to watch The Shield. you ever see that show?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we used to watch The Shield every night.
It was the guy that played the Thing in Fantastic Four, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Michael something.
Michael Rockman.
Yeah, Rockman. Yeah, but he plays Vic Mackey in the Shield, and The Shield is probably in my top 5 favorite shows of all time. It's really good. But I always remember playing the Vita.
And his face just on the screen going, "You can do it, Dan." So I think I'm playing too long.
And my wife would always say, "Oh, you're not watching the show," and I was like, "I know exactly what's happening. Test me," and she'd ask me a question, I'd be able to answer it, and then
you'd earn yourself 10 minutes of quiet time.
Continue playing the Vita. Yeah.
So yeah, I think a 3 amazing game. I absolutely adore it. Next up, doesn't have a platinum, but Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. That's a 1.
Yeah, great game, great game.
Highly recommend it. Next up, Hotline Miami. Now, if any long-time viewers of this channel, whatever the hell it is anymore, will remember on the first part of this particular series, Hotline Miami 2 actually made it to the fabled 5 Platchummies.
Did it? Yeah.
Did it?
Remember? No, I don't think it did.
Was it 4.5? It was 4.5.
Yeah.
It was 4.5. I'm hyping up something that didn't even happen. It was in the higher end. It was in the higher end.
This game is much easier, though.
Much easier, and I think much like I would put it in the exact same bracket as Guacamelee 3.
Yeah, a 3. It is. Yeah, it's that you need precision, but it's a really well mechanically made game.
And just that soundtrack. I listened to that soundtrack for quite a while after playing it.
Yeah, it's
because there's something just kind of chilled, even though it's based around murder, it was kind of chilled and relaxing to listen to.
It is a very dark series, a really, really grim dark series. When you look back at it, I remember obviously I grinded out the 40,000 kills for the.
Just it bloodshot eyes. Just
I was just it completely became numb.
It's quite hypnotic. It's quite a hypnotic, rhythmic game, though.
It is,
and it is quite a dour, bleak, dark game. But it's under
everything is
the
so
1980s
scummy.
colorful aesthetic with a real binding soundtrack to kind of disguise just how kind of depraved it is. Yeah, I love it though.
It always reminds me of Vice City, especially when you get the chainsaw in Vice City.
Yes, and you chase your man down by the Malibu with the chainsaw. Come back here, you fat piece of shit.
It's pretty heavily influenced, I think, from that as well.
I'd say so. Next up, another game that I've the platinum for, but you do not. Dead Space Extraction.
You take it away.
5 in terms of the mechanics involved with the game, because it's an on-rail shooter, and I remember 3 or 4 times there's a collectible. You've got this brief window of time to actually get it, so it's almost like you're preemptively moving the cursor where you're expecting the camera to turn to. And if you miss it, it's like you need to replay the whole level, and it's built to frustrate. Now maybe it's better with move controls. I don't know. I never had the disposable income to buy PlayStation Move or anything, and it didn't really appeal to me too much. I had the Wii. I was playing bowling. I was fine. But
it's actually regarded easier to get the platinum with the DualShock, because you can use one of the weapons. I think it's some saw or something. I was just looking at the guide, and the guide recommends the DualShock.
Yeah, definitely the weakest Dead Space game. We'll say that.
I'll go a bit further and say this is the weakest game on my entire list. I think I had no time for this game at all. I just did not enjoy it in the slightest.
I got it free with was it Dead Space 2 or
with Dead Space 2? Yeah, I got it free too.
Yeah, and
I remember loading it up, and I think I had a headache when I was playing it, and not related to the game, and then
you associated
that kind of soured it. Yeah, and then I just remember playing the game through, and then finding that like you said, I'd miss a collectible, and then I was like, okay, well, how do I get back to? I have to start the level again, and then they make you sit through the opening cutscene.
Oh and,
slow walk over here to the lift, and then go down in the lift, and it's No, I'm not feeling this at all.
And the thing was, I actually thought the narrative was pretty good, but it was completely restricted by the fact it was an on-rail shooter. And like the Dead Space, we'll call it Trilogy, is just, I absolutely adored. So it was just more Dead Space, and it was kind of filling that gap in between the second and third game.
Yes.
But I would probably say overall it would be one of the weaker games on my list, or the games that I, enjoyed the least.
Yeah. But something like on-rail shooters just do not work with a controller in my mind. Like maybe it's easier to get the platinum with the controller, but it's I have great fond memories of Time Crisis and
Dino Crisis and
House of the Living Dead and things in the arcade. Yeah, and like that was where it was at. No problem spending some money on the arcades to play those games. But then on-rail shooters with the DualShock for trophies, I just
doesn't have the same novelty as an arcade that smells like popcorn and piss.
Yeah. Yes. But actually, like in saying that, I do plan to go back and clean it up a little bit.
Look,
maybe I won't go with the
it is short. It is short, and I think that you should do a level a day. Just treat it as like you have a cup of tea and you do a level, and don't as long as you don't dedicate yourself entirely to it, like as I never did. I actually think you might find some semblance of enjoyment.
Maybe, yeah.
But in terms of difficulty, I would give it a 2.5. 2 plant chummies in terms of just the sheer brutally annoying mechanics, and the fact that 3 or 4 collectibles specifically, you have like a split second. So,
yeah.
But moving on, Batman Arkham City.
It's harder than Asylum,
but not as bloated as Night.
I haven't played Night myself. I had enough.
No,
I had enough after City.
Yeah, Arkham Knight's 100% was a labour of love. Going to lie.
It kind of fell into the same trap as Assassin's Creed and Far Cry for me, where it was kind of like, oh, the game's out again, and it's like just a bigger version of the last game. Mm-hmm. So I never had much will to go and play Night. I have to remember some of my rarest trophies are from the DLC in this game, and the Catwoman DLC.
There's 2 ultra rares, the 108 medals and 72 medals.
Yes, they were for a long time they were like some of my rarest trophies, but I think it's I'd say it's like a 3 out of 10, or sorry, 3 out of 5 plat chummies. I think I found it a lot easier than Asylum because I knew the combat, and I didn't when I played Asylum. But it's a bigger game with a lot more Riddlers and things like that.
Yeah. Like for me, I would almost say a 2.5. Mm-hmm. I never thought they were like as difficult as they're made out to be. Personally, like I think the combat just kind of made sense to me.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know why, it just flows, and like once you realize it's not a button masher, and you have a 3-4 second window to pick and choose what your next move is going to be.
Yes,
It was
pretty much the grandfather of that battle system, though. Like every game copied it since. It was heavily influential.
So I would say 2.5 between a 3, but I remember kind of tearing through the combat DLC trophies, and I think like the challenges got a bit more convoluted in Arkham Knight, and the Batmobile kind of changed that up, where like they were almost the most annoying challenges for me, whereas at the combat ones I always just flew through it. So I would say 2.5 and kind of just an accepted 3 as well from you. I wouldn't argue against you on that, but I personally always find the combat stuff quite easy.
Yeah, it definitely took me longer to click, because I remember when you got the platinum for like Arkham Asylum, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how did you do that challenge? And then one day I turned it on and I started to play it, and like you said, then it just clicked with me, and it was like, oh.
Did we have a conversation about it? I remember like
I think I said
don't
me.
button. I think I said just don't button mash. Because I think
that was it.
I remember you like button mash it, and then like you immediately got better. Because I'm like, honestly, you have like 3 or 4 seconds to action before the combo disappears, and just I told you, just jump over them. If you're tight for space, just jump. The combo doesn't break, and you can jump endlessly over people as long as there's something to jump over. The combo will never break. So pro tip out there if you're going for it. So I think we'll cover quickly just the last 2, and then we'll finish the rest in part 3 of our Lord of the Plat trilogy.
Yes.
So Dead Nation 2.5.
Yeah, I think again I'm gonna go with a 3 here. I think
2.5, 3.
I remember this taking me quite a long time actually, because like it was like one of the first games.
Morbid difficulty was tough.
It was one of the first games I ever downloaded, I think. I have a very vivid memory of like being like, wow, I actually like downloaded this game, you know.
That sounded like an Owen Wilson. Wow.
The 9th of December 2010 was when I got my first trophy. So, I think I remember playing it and finding it quite hard at the time. I never got to the DLC like you did either. But
I like the DLC.
Yeah, I must maybe.
I can help you with it. It's literally almost like just a very simplistic, not a raid mode, it's just a survival mode, and there's some nice gold trophies in there for you. I don't mind booting that up and helping you with it.
That'd be an interesting one to play again, because like I remember it was a really well made game. It's made by Housemarque, who are very, very capable, precision-y kind of game developers. They did the game that came out in the what was that one called? The one Resogun. It came out for the PS4, and that was like really, really tight game. And they're the developers of Super Stardust Ultra, which again was the first ever trophy game of all time.
So they have a rich history.
Was it? Or no, that was Super Stardust.
Super Stardust.
HD. It was the first one. But history lessons there of trophies. But that was a good game. I remember it being hard, so I'm going to stick with the 3.
Yeah, I again, much like Arkham City actually. I could easily agree with 2.5 or 3, but it's definitely no less than 2.5 or any more than 3, which is essentially how the scale works, just stating the obvious. I think my final one will be 2.5, to be honest. I think I'll hold firm. A few struggles here and there, but overall just super enjoyable. I probably played half it while drunk, though. I don't know if that may have... because I remember playing it in Galway, but anyway, last game, and I think we'll end it on a 1.
I think we should do last 2 more, because there's one game that I just want to get to.
Okay. One more tune. Okay, Walking Dead 1, Spec Ops The Line 2.
2. Yeah.
2.
2.
Yeah. 2. It was mechanically very poor, and I don't know if that was used as like an excuse. Oh, that's part of the narrative. It's like, well, yeah, it's still like really. I can admire what they did with the story, but mechanically it was still kind of piss poor.
It was really, like a pretty copy and paste third person shooter.
It was Terminator Salvation with a sense of gravitas.
Yeah. The story was really the story was good. Definitely, no doubt about it. But yeah, I don't remember being wowed by the shooting mechanics.
The combat was like, I don't know, he had no knees.
Yeah.
It was just very stunted.
my memory isn't that good.
That's all I remember. Is just piss poor running animations, endlessly poor running animations, and then,
I remember the aesthetic never like really gripped me with the game.
It was like a hangover of like when every game was just super brown, but it was already outdated by the time it came out. Because it was around 2012, 2013, wasn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
But still, the story definitely is worth. It's like it's a worthwhile game to play just for the story alone. They definitely tried something new there, which was cool.
Well, they just said violence is bad, but anyway. So
Last of Us 2 did it better.
Last but not least, because Dan pushed to get to this game in particular, which makes me curious to see what you're thinking with this. So
that's it. Yeah, I think this is a good one to end on.
As opposed to The Walking Dead, bit of a limp dick final game is clearly one. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we try the timing thing again and say our rating?
Sure. Okay, we'll go 3, 2, 1, and then we'll say it. Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. 4.5.
Yeah, no, I'm going to 5 with this. There's no
I'm joking.
Game on my list.
No, I'm joking. It's a 5.
Yeah, there's no game on my list that I just think back to struggling so hard on. So Vanquish will always be the pinnacle, and I think we've kind of like alluded to this when we spoke of Vanquish before, but it's just the game. It's the game that I just know that I would like never try again to platinum.
Yeah,
it was just too hard.
No, it is a 5. I just wanted to sound better because I knew you'd go 5 as well. Because we literally said this on a video. 1. Pussy.
So easy.
Yeah. It's I'm actually doing a retrospective on this game. I'm in the middle of the script because I adore the game and I absolutely love the B-movie nature of its narrative, and it's either taking itself so seriously in a way that would make Neil Breen or Tommy Wiseau blush, or
it's quite Japanese, you know.
Or it's either satirical or deadly serious, and I don't know, because any time that I think, oh, it's really self-aware, like it's purposefully going out of its way, there'd be a moment of just that up the skirt shot, which makes me go, no, it might just be as shallow as it appears to be.
Well, like it's like it always reminded me the story was quite Metal Gear-esque. I always thought the characters kind of reminded me of, you know, say Revengeance, you know.
Yeah. Like I call Sam, who's the lead character in Vanquish, I think in the script I have it written that it's like a mix of Solid Snake and Steven Seagal, a solid Seagal, if you will. And that pretty much sums him up. Just like every piece of dialogue is a quip.
Yes.
There's no characterization. It's an excuse to get to one liner and then the next.
It's like if they gave the ninja suit to Snake instead of Raiden.
To Snake, but if he was like just like in college, it was like frat boy Snake, you know. No, but but on a gameplay mechanical level, I actually think it's in like the absolute top tier of third-person shooters, if not the single best third-person shooter in terms of just robust mechanics and just really like deep kind of adaptive gameplay. Like there's so many ways of approaching enemies and it just all flows so well, but
it's very quick, but it flows. That's Platinum Games for you, you know. They're
like
that.
Bayonetta, and they're kind of well known for it. But
they should combine Vanquish with Spec Ops: The Line and make like Vanquish: The Line,
or Spec Ops Vanquish.
Because then
did they have that in the opening title? Is it, you know, when Resident Evil
Vanquish?
Because that just played in my head. I'm
Vanquish.
Like, I'm just like, what is that voice? That was a repressed memory. Because I'm like, what? Wait, did it do that? Because you know the Resident Evil 4. They kind of dropped the number, but I'm just like, I didn't trust my memory there because all I heard was Vanquish.
Oh yeah, no, it was there. I remember it.
Okay, I'm not going mad. But yeah, essentially what I think is a 5 is, for the obvious reason, Challenge 6, but also Challenge 4 is tricky enough, but Challenge 6 is kind of like we discussed it on Platinums we could never get again, but I think that was. It was.
We should load it up again one time and
see if we can do.
See is it actually as hard as we remember. You know,
we got it first time. God, it was such a sissy. No, it's pure skill. It's pure dedication, and it's pure like patience as well to take the time in order to develop that skill. No, I could have put that into piano, or guitar, or something else, but I put it into getting the platinum in Vanquish. And we both have it, so bravo.
Yeah, you're not bad at the old guitar either, or the drums.
Yeah, but I mean, if I dedicated the time that I spent accumulating these platinums, I'd be on my 4th Grammy Award-winning album at this point.
Possibly, yeah. I checked there the last day, and I think I have like 14,000 hours or something on the PS4. Just the PS4. Something like that.
I think I had 4,500, wasn't it?
Yeah, something. Yeah. Now, like, I'm sure maybe some of it for me is like idling the game. You know? I hope.
That's my defense.
That's my defense. Yeah.
But so thanks for joining us. If you're still here, I would say there's not too many games left. So I would say we will finish it up in part 3. So thanks for walking down memory lane with me.
Yes, Dan. It's going to be a very, very PS3 focused video for the next one as well.
The next one, we were already kind of getting deep into the PS3 territory. We're going all the way back to our early days, so it's going to be an exercise in our memory as well.
Yeah, it's going to be Platchum's origin story, I think. Yeah,
we're getting closer to the source, man. We're getting closer to the source. So, thanks for watching. You're kind of above me, so I'm just going to grab you there. My hands don't look as small as the last time. Platchums!